Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Safi. Welcome to the Quran Study channel.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's a pleasure to speak to you about the work you're doing and IQRA in particular. Very keen to hear about that, and also to hear about an upcoming conference which you and your team are organizing, which I'm sure the viewers will be very keen to hear about as well. So yeah, welcome, and it's a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It will be my pleasure. Thank you.
Maybe it would be useful just to start with a bit of background to yourself and the objectives behind IQRA and what you're looking
Yes,
to achieve through IQRA.
sure. Indeed. Actually, I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. I got most of my studies in Lebanon and then finished my graduate studies here in the United States in business administration and became a business consultant for most of my practical life. Worked for 30 years in Saudi Arabia as a business consultant, and then retired and came to United States, and here I am. But actually, my life took a turn toward the Quran after 9/11. So after 9/11, I felt a tremendous challenge because American networks, American TVs, were making all kind of claims about the Quran and about Muslims and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I decided the media try to feed young Americans whatever they want to try to feed them. But I know that they are curious, they're open-minded, and they read a lot. You know, they, for instance, if we take an average of how many books an American read a year and how many books someone in the Arab world read, it's scandalous because we read like half a page a year, you know. So anyway, I started working on a Quran translation in easy, simple English and targeted high school young people, high school level of education, young people with high school education. And the book was very successful. I later decided the job will not be complete until I show adults, American adults, or the same young people who read my Quran translation but are older now, what is common between the Quran and the Bible. In fact, I cooperated with some good people, some good Christians on this project, and we discovered that the Bible has 3,500 verses with meaning similar to meaning of verses in the Quran. So my second book was the Quran with the references to the Bible. Now I have a book, a third book called the Quran with the references to the Tanakh being the Jewish Bible. So I've been on that particular path for over 20 years now. But my focus is always on the Quran translation because that's the cornerstone of what I'm doing today. It influences everything I do. And 2 years ago, I was thinking, what will be the best way to have the best possible English translation? And the answer that came to mind, you cannot do it alone. You need Quran scholars and scientists working together. At the same time, the name came to mind, the International Quran Research Association. And that same week, a friend of mine from Chicago, a graduate of Al-Azhar who taught over 40 years in universities in the Chicago area, contacted me and agreed to be a co-founder of IQRA. And then a Pakistani who is known to be the father of the rocket program in Pakistan also contacted me, and we decided to work together, all three of us, and we became co-founder of IQRA. So you had the Quran scholars on one side and the scientists on the other side. And a friend of mine, Samuel Shrapshire, was asking me your same question about IQRA. He said, why don't you use the acronym? It's a long name. I said, what would that be? He said, IQRA. I didn't know that at that time.
Yeah.
I was using the full name. So that's how it started. And today we are preparing to bring together the translators into English of the various from the various parts of the world, and we have about 52 of them. We put them all in a WhatsApp account so they can start meeting each other and talking to each other and getting to know each other. Maybe they can learn from each other, which is not an easy task to accomplish, by the way, because they need apparently they need the direction, they need someone to direct the conversation and all of this. I intended for the conversation to be free, to be, because for each one of them to find that this is a unique opportunity we presented to them, talking to each other. Anyway, we have a team working on the conference. Inshallah, it will be a very successful conference. It starts on July 1st and July 2nd. IQRA has two types of audiences. One is academic people. The second is anybody who is interested in the Quran. We are appealing in our ad campaign for the conference to both audiences, to the academic, and we're reaching a lot of them, and to the general public who is interested in the Quran, and we're asking them to register for the conference. If anybody go to our website, which is www.iqra.study, and they will see on top of the front page where they can click and register to attend the conference. And it'll be open for everybody who would like to attend. That's our story in short.
MashaAllah, that's very useful. Thank you, Dr. Safi.
Thank you.
And in terms of the outcomes of the conference, what do you hope to achieve for IQRA and also for, in terms of the people who will be attending? What's the intended outcome?
Brother, to start with, I wanted this particular conference to be as ideal as possible. So after spending 6 years myself, while I was translating the Quran, and all the experiences I went through, because no one can devote 6 years all day long to a Quran translation without going spiritually through many experiences. I thought probably we would leave it open as a first conference for these translators. We leave it open for them to share whatever is on their heart. But truly that will not work. From experience now, I know that this will not work. We have a Shura committee that meets every week and continue its planning for the conference. So we decided that we will divide the conference into major goals, like linguistic difficulties with the translation, the terms that are used, and if the possibility of finding common meaning to certain terms, and that particular side, or whether to translate words or to translate meaning. That's another type of topic that people need to consider and go through. What type of English language people are using? Do we want to use archaic English to impress academic people, or do we want to use simple English because we want to appeal to almost everybody, to all audiences? At the end, though, we still allow every translator, we're giving them 10 minutes each to speak. And in 10 minutes, you can say a lot if you think about it, if you sit down to write it and impact it. it can be very impacting. So 10 minutes to speak, and then they can choose one of the topic that we talked about and more, and decide to go to a particular room where that topic will be discussed. And they will have people facilitating the conversation and others who are helping them conduct the discussion on this. So this is basically the plan for the conference and the way we intend to do it. And inshallah, we will also have several keynote speakers. Inshallah, we'll have the Mufti of Egypt addressing us. We'll have Dr. Abdul Halim, who's the famous Qur'an translators, also delivering a keynote speech in addition to his participation in the conference. We will have several well-known people joining us as keynote speakers, in addition to every translators spending 10 minutes talking about whatever they like to talk about concerning their own translations. This is basically it,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we ask every translator to send us a short video to help us promote the conference. In that video, 3-4 minutes video, they can say anything they want about themselves, who they are, why did they do a Quran translation, etc.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Safi. I had a couple of questions, and these are questions which I think our viewers will have, which I'll, if I may, present to you. One of the questions is that some individuals who follow the progression of the translation of the Quran, they carry some fear. They fear that the translation of the Quran being done in modern times may be being done in order to accommodate Western liberal thinking, which is inconsistent with the traditions of Islam, and they fear this progressive discussion, discourse, and attitude. What would you say to them? What's your position on that?
Brother, my personal position has really nothing to do with general Muslim attitude, for a simple reason. I trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I trust Muslim scholars. I personally believe that my translation could have been the worst possible, could have been totally my personal understanding without any regard to traditions. But the simple reaction of average Muslim will be to shun it, not to purchase it, not to buy it, not to read it. And that would be their answer to me. They don't need to do anything else. We don't need to prevent people or put limits on people's freedom of thoughts. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam during his lifetime did not ask us to limit the way people think, or to try to ban them from thinking, or trying to warn them that if you think freely, shaitan might come to your mind. This is not the way he raised us. He raised us to be free. When he went to Medina to govern and to be the first application on the ground of the Quran, he gave people total freedom to think, to meet, to talk, to pray any way they want according to their own religion. Did not limit any of this. And this is, in my mind, what the Quran is. I can see the Quran through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's application of that Quran. So I learned from him not to try to ban people from thinking or limit their thoughts. So doesn't matter what agenda somebody has in mind if they are working on a Quran translation. We Muslims are very capable of dealing with that later on. In a place like United States, we'll stop buying it. That'll kill it, you know. Or we can meet with him and show him where he is making mistakes. This conference, in fact, is a place where people come to a free platform, and if they don't intend to serve Islam and Muslim, we will see this. And we need platforms like this to uncover all this. We cannot keep hiding behind government regulations and all kind of do and don'ts and try to get Muslim to think in a tunnel. No, we want to encourage Muslim to have a panoramic view of everything around them and show them that we trust them so they can do the things they believe Islam require of them to do. This is the Islam I understand and the Islam I want. In fact, we are dealing here in the United States because of the freedom of thoughts that we have with all kind of people. You cannot limit people with laws about anything they want to say or do. Therefore, the only way we can face what they're doing and try to challenge it is through conferences where we all meet freely and all have free discussions with anybody. Even with the President of the United States, we can stand up and tell him, you're wrong, sir, about this. This is not the way Qur'an teaches. This is the way we believe it teaches. You know, so freedom is the key to balance everybody's acts. And laws to limit people thinking are a new invention that is extremely harmful. So this is what I think.
Yeah,
I can
thank
be
you.
wrong. Wallahu a'lam.
Yes, and freedom of thought, freedom of thought. One of the things which we continue to repeat on our channel as we go through the study of the Quran and we present the study and we go through certain topics and certain interpretations, we always say to our viewers, go and look at the verse yourself and ponder and think about what makes sense for you. Think about the facts that you see around you and make it make sense to you. And so that freedom of thought is very important. And having peaceful discord around it.
Yes, indeed. Unless you feel that you are secure, you will not feel free to express yourself. You know, let me share this short story with you. You might appreciate it. 2 months after I finished the translation of the Quran, and I really worked on it 6 years full time, from Fajr all the way to 10, 11 at night, every day. So 2 months after I finished the translation, I was wondering, I asked myself a question. What is Allah trying to tell me through this book? Then I thought I should ask, what is the essence of the Quran? The answer I got shook me up to my core, because I didn't expect. Freedom, I was told, is the essence of the Quran. What do you mean? What's that? It's not even a word mentioned in the Quran. Well, I want you to come to me with your free will. If you don't come to me freely, I don't want you. It doesn't count. Unless you choose me freely, you're not truly worshiping me. So if you want to truly worship me, you have to choose me freely and come to me with your free will. Then I can hold you responsible for your deeds. I mean, this really blew my mind.
It's profound. It's profound.
I did not expect that answer at all. I expect, I thought of Tawheed, for instance, which is definitely extremely important, but you cannot really truly choose Tawheed unless you're free to choose Tawheed. Therefore, people that are enslaved, I can tell you right now, they're not responsible for their deeds. Taklif that Allah gave us apply only to free human beings who can make free decisions. I choose to pray 5 times a day. I think about it. Then I freely choose to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I come to that meeting with freedom, with appreciation, with gratefulness, because I believe that Allah deserves to be worshipped. I don't do it because I learned to do it from my father and because the people with me go and pray and I have to stand with them anyway. No, I'm free to do it or not to do it. And I choose to pray because this is the best way to show Allah my appreciation of creating me. I think every Muslim need to renew his faith this way, even if one is born as a Muslim, need to renew that commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Commonly, people associate slavery with physical slavery,
Yeah,
but there's slavery of the mind.
yeah.
And I think what the Qur'an teaches us is to free our minds, free ourselves from slavery of the mind. So it's not just physical slavery which it frees us from, but also slavery of the mind.
Brother Munib, many Muslims, many mullahs, many sheikhs, many muftis call us Abidullah. Did Allah call us Abid or did He call us Ibad? Is there a difference between Abd and Abid? Abid means worshipper of Allah. Allah in the Quran called me Abid, Ibadur Rahman, the worshippers of the most merciful. Abd, I am Abd only in one condition, the day of judgment, where I cannot speak freely. I can only speak if I'm given a permission to speak. I'm Abd, I'm a slave at that moment only. Today on earth, I'm a free potential worshipper. All of us, all human beings, all children of Adam are potential worshippers of Allah because Allah had a contract with them. Before we were born, we committed to a contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He appeared to us and He said, am I not your Lord? We said, yes, you are. He said, okay, go. So, and remember, so you wouldn't say you were never given the choice. We're on earth because we committed to worship Allah. So we're potential worshippers, ibad. If Muslims understand that they need to free their mind, they need to free their will, they need to be physically free, and then choose to worship Allah, we will not be able to move forward. There is nothing that will stop me from being proud of being a servant and a slave of Allah. But that's not what He wants of me while I'm on earth. He wants me to be a free human being with a free will and a free mind to choose Him freely. While doing this, while I'm showing Him that my appreciation and my love, He said, the best way you can show me this is when you serve other Muslims. So I'm servant to my brothers and sisters, and I'm a worshiper of Allah. You know, I spend years after translating the Quran, after putting time in understanding every word in Arabic, then putting time to find the best way to translate it into English. I put time in trying to give definitions to words we inherited. We inherited Islam as to surrender yourself to Allah. Then I started thinking, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us? Why did He chose for me, specifically me, to be on this planet? Because none of us is created accidentally. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant to create each one of us specifically. So why? Because out of love, He loves me. He loves me and He wanted me to come to earth and be eternally with Him if I listen to what He revealed to me. So I am listening. I am studying the revelation you sent to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I need to learn how to serve my brothers and sisters. And by doing this, I'm getting closer to Him. That's what He told me. The essence of what He told us, you will get closer to me, and I love what you're doing if you do islah. on earth. So tazkiyah for my nafs and islah for the world around me. These are the two principles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me in the Quran to guide my life. And that's what I do.
Very interesting, Dr. Safi, very interesting. It's been a pleasure to have such an insightful and interesting conversation with you. I would certainly invite you, give us an opportunity to have more conversations with you, to understand more of your understanding of the Quran and perhaps have a conversation about certain topics, which I know that would be very useful for me and for us and for the people who follow the channel and on your platforms, my platform as well.
Anytime you want, just give me a call. Again, like I told you, I'm a servant to my brothers and sister, and I mean what I'm saying. You know, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khadimul qawmi sayyiduhum." Khadim on earth, Sayyid in the eyes of Allah. On earth, we're all servant to each other, and the more we serve, the higher our rank with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, I am your khadim, and I am the servant of my brothers and sisters. Anytime you knock on the door, I will answer it. Thank you very much, brother.
MashaAllah. And for the viewers, I'm going to put a link
Yes.
where people can register
yes.
for the upcoming conference in July, on the 1st and 2nd of July.
Yes.
And I pray that it goes well, inshallah.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Wish you peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.